Well, it's been over 2 months since Hamas launched its October 7th attack on Israel, killing over 1,000 people, taking hundreds hostage. While some of those hostages have been released, over 100 are still believed to be held captive in Gaza. Yesterday, President Biden spoke with family members of Americans taken hostage, including the parents of 23-year-old Hersh Goldberg-Polin. And Hersh's mother, Rachel Goldberg, joins us now. Rachel, we can't thank you enough for your time and for being here with us. And we're so sorry for what you're going through and what you've been going through for over 2 months now. Tell us a little bit about what happened in that virtual meeting with President Biden yesterday and what was said.
Well, President Biden and U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken were both present, and very much, you know, from day one, the American administration and all of Congress, everyone has been so completely supportive. But what's good is that it's not just that they happen to be sympathetic, empathetic, and, you know, supportive in an emotional way, but they are very clearly trying in every way possible to get not only the 8 Americans who are remaining in Gaza free, but really all of the hostages free. And so it was a very positive meeting, and, you know, we're appreciative. And on the other hand, as loved ones of these hostages who we know are in horrible conditions, we are terrified about the timing. They don't have time. They simply don't have time. From the hostages who have been released, as you mentioned, thankfully, 2 weeks ago, just over 100 hostages were released. And when they describe, you know, the starvation and the torture and the conditions, you can imagine if it was your mother or sister or daughter, son, or spouse who was still there, you would be beside yourself in anguish and despair. And that is where we are.
I know that a lot of the family members of hostages have been asking at the bare minimum for some sort of proof of life, proof of conditions. Let the Red Cross or the Red Crescent get in there. Your son Hersh was taken from the music festival, and you know that he was injured. Have you received any sort of update on his condition?
Well, we know because the Hamas camera that was on one of their helmets fell off, and we have that footage of Hersh with his left arm, which is his dominant arm, blown off at the elbow, being loaded onto a Hamas pickup truck. So we know for a fact that he is not just, you know, critically wounded, he's now, you know, maimed, disabled for the rest of his life, and we're very concerned about that. The released hostages did tell us that the people who were among them, who were hurt, were taken. Their first stop was to medical treatment when they got to Gaza. So that was helpful for us in being hopeful that Hersh also, you know, we see in the video that they took, he didn't lose consciousness. He was walking on his own. No one had to assist him. He had somehow tied a bandage around the stump where his arm was. And so we are hopeful that he was treated.
Just from our brief conversation with you so far, I can tell you seem to be incredibly strong, and we just appreciate you talking about this. But I suppose this might be a difficult question, but tell us about Hersh and how you think your son is holding up, not knowing so much about what he's going through, but how his personality might be helping him through these times.
Well, first of all, Hersh is my favorite subject, so it's not hard for me to, you know, like any parent, my children are my favorite subject. Look, it's very difficult to project what anyone would be like in a crisis, traumatic situation. I do think that Hersh has a very strong mental composition. So I like to believe, I mean, even watching him when he is walking at gunpoint with his arm missing out of the bomb shelter and getting himself onto the pickup truck with his not dominant hand, hoisting himself up, you know, on the one hand, it shows that he was composed. On the other hand, I think he was in complete shock, I'm sure trauma. It's hard for me to know. I want to believe, and I pray every day with so many people around the world who've been giving us prayers and love and support. I want to pray that he has the strength to stay strong, survive, come home alive. That's all I could do is pray and hope and stay optimistic. And especially at this time of year when, that is what the holiday season's about. That's Hanukkah. It's about believing in light when there's darkness. Christmas is about, believing in miracles and light. And so we're trying to be as optimistic as we possibly can be.
So you spoke to President Biden. You are confident that the American government is doing all that it can. Have you been speaking at all with the Israeli government? And are you getting the support that you need from Israeli officials?
So we have, from the government and the Army, they assign each hostage family support systems who have been very good to us. We definitely feel that the people who are in charge, when there are negotiations, when David Barnea is at the table, we feel 100% confident in his abilities. We were very shaken and shocked today when we heard that the War Cabinet was saying that he should not be going for negotiations. Although a few minutes ago, I just heard an update from the local news here that now he is actually being given the green light to return to Doha, to the negotiating table. So I don't know what the most accurate information is, but I certainly hope so. As a parent, I mean, any of you watching or you in the studio can imagine. I mean, I want my son home. I want my son who's grievously wounded to get the treatment he needed. He needed 69 days ago. I want the other 130 hostages also to be freed. So that's, where my focus is.
Well, Rachel, yeah, I'm a parent, and we've talked about this before, that, you don't know where your kid is for 30 minutes and you start to panic. This length of time, I just cannot imagine. I'm going to reiterate what Doug said. Your strength is just so admirable. You have the 69 on your shirt there because these are the number of days that you have not been able to hug your son, starting with October 7th. And so we are all joining you in hoping and praying that he will come home soon. Thank you so much.
Amen. Amen. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rachel.